If you are anything like me, you love it when people love your food. I feel like at every social gathering, there is always some sort of snack or treat that just stands out and has people talking about it the whole party. It feels pretty good when it's your dish that people are gushing on and on about. However, it's not normally the chocolate chip cookies or Chex Mix that people are talking about. Instead, it's usually a dish that someone went the extra mile on. There are a lot of ways to spruce up any recipe, and one of my favorite methods for this is to add a streusel topping. At its simplest, a streusel topping is a crumb topping made of flour, sugar, and butter. You can really make it your own or have it complement your dish by adding oats, nuts, and or spices. There are many desserts you can add a streusel topping to, such as muffins, pies, breads, and cakes. Today, I will demonstrate how to make a streusel topping for blueberry muffins. The first step to making a streusel topping for blueberry muffins is to have your muffin batter already prepared. It is your choice if you make the muffins from a box recipe or from a scratch recipe. Either way, remember not to mix your muffin batter too hard or for too long. This is what it should look like when it's done. I have removed it from the mixing bowl and added it to the muffin tray. The second step is to gather the supplies you will need. For my streusel topping, I will be using half a cup of all-purpose flour, a fourth of a cup of packed brown sugar, 1/4 a cup of cold unsalted butter, and half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. The third step is to get a mixing bowl and to stir together the flour, the brown sugar, and the cinnamon. This step does not take too long because you're not mixing in any liquids or binding ingredients like that. So you just stir it up. You might have to smash down the brown sugar, but it's okay if it's lumpy because streusel topping is lumpy. It's very crummy. So I would do a mixture of stirring and then just kind of like smashing or patting. When you're done, it should look like this. It's just like a very crummy flour look that's a little more brown. The fourth step is to take your stick of butter and to turn it into cubes. So what I normally do for this is I take it's like a half stick of butter. You take it and I slice it into a bunch of little squares like this. And then I take each little slice and I slice it 2 times both ways so that I get 9 little cubes of butter that look like this. And I do that with the whole stick. So then after you do that, the fifth step is to add the butter cubes into your mixture and combine all of the ingredients until they are crummy. You could use a fork or a similar tool to mash the butter, like this, where you go like this. Or you could use your fingers. While you should have already washed your hands before making your muffin batter, make sure to wash them again first if you are going to mix the ingredients with your fingers. So then I just kind of pour that in. And like I said, you might use a fork, you might use something else. Sometimes I use both. I'm using a fork right now to kind of get the butter just stirred in so it's coated in that mixture. Which this is what it'll look like, where the butter is now just has that little layer over it. And then I'll take this and I just kind of start smushing down to make it super crummy. It is not going to be perfectly mixed together. It is literally going to look like brown flour with little clumps. The clumps should be covered enough in the flour though that if you didn't know it was butter, you wouldn't be able to guess it was butter. You can also mix this to your liking. Some people don't want big crumbs, some people like little crumbs, some people like a mixture of both. I honestly just kind of mix until my arms are tired because it's a lot of work. I take my fork and I scrape this part. There might be some butter stuck in it, but I only have 6 muffins in my tray, so it's not that big of a deal. This is what mine looks like. As you can see, it is very crummy. There's lots of clumps. Now the final step is to add the streusel topping to your muffins. You can add as much or as little as you would like. So I'm just gonna use a spoon, and I like to make sure the entire top of the muffin is covered by it. Some people like just a little sprinkle. I love streusel. I think it tastes really good, especially when made right. So buttery and crummy, so good. This is what it looks like. It's very easy to add that. You don't have to do anything else after you add it. Finally, cook the muffins in the oven according to the recipe you are following. The streusel should be golden brown when the muffins are finished cooking, but that can also vary by recipe. Ultimately, a streusel topping is a great way to add to any dessert. It can make it seem like you know what you're doing in the kitchen without actually having to do much. Today I demonstrated how to make a streusel topping for blueberry muffins. The method I used took 6 steps. 1. Making your muffin batter. 2. Gathering the ingredients. 3. Mixing the flour, brown sugar, and cinnamon. 4. Cutting the butter into cubes. 5. Mixing the butter and flour mixture together. And 6. Adding the topping to the muffins. Thank you for taking time to listen to me today. I hope you are able to walk away with some ideas on how to spruce up your desserts for the holidays this year.